Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity, where we take a look at the data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. I am your host, Preston Proctor. All right. Chicago, Winnipeg. I'm going to swap this up. Chicago, Winnipeg. So beat Chicago, lost to Winnipeg, won the two games on the road, which was great. Came home and lost to Winnipeg. I'll relate more of the stats later. But yeah, it was, like I said, I was expecting to beat Chicago and Detroit. The two road games. I was expecting to win those after looking at the road stats and pleasantly surprised, the Detroit big win in Detroit and a win in Chicago, which is good. I didn't have a lot of expectation for the Winnipeg game. They mixed it up on me. They put Maloch in. In their back-to-back. So then Comrie was available for the game against Nashville, and I guess that's great that they brought this Maloch. I'm guessing it's Maloch since he didn't play against us. I don't really know. I'm just guessing. I like that Maloch. So they brought him up and played him. Now they did lose to Carolina 1-5, and then they beat Nashville 5-2. So that for them, I mean, they've only had two back-to-back situations, and so far they lose the first and win the second. And they played Seattle and Calgary the first time, and I mean Seattle's a good team, but they're right now fifth in the Pacific, and Calgary is where Calgary is. Calgary come into town tonight, by the way, right? Calgary's in town as a home. Yeah, Calgary's in. Yeah, so we'll get to that. So they these two were away. The first two for them were at home. Nashville, we've now had four back-to-backs and, 3 and 5 in those back-to-backs. We got Saros is 3 and 1 and Annunen is 0 and 4. We're no matter what's Annunen is always in the second game of the back-to-back. That's really, I guess so. So far, he's always in the back, and we guess what? We've lost them all. So the back end of the back-to-back has always been Annunen, and we've always lost. Toronto 4-7, Dallas 2-3, Minnesota in overtime 2-3. That back-to-back both were overtime, and then now Winnipeg 2-5. So let's see, away, home, away, home. So they've alternated whether they're home or away. The first one, away, home, home, away. So a little bit different sequence there. But anyway, so the back-to-backs were not kind to Nashville last year, but what was. And so far this year, similar situation. So, did not expect to beat Winnipeg, but would have been nice, win 3 in a row, but didn't. So, moving on, I did do my playoff preview, playoff analysis. I have now done it 3 ways, and we'll get into that. So the first way that I did it, and what I was doing primarily last year, is I take the winning percentage of the top 4 in a division, the winning percentage, and then I apply that across all of the teams, and for the remaining schedule. And so basically the team will do better because the top people in their division are doing better, or not so much. So for instance, in the Pacific, the top 4 are winning at a 49% clip. Not great versus 59% here in the Central. Of course, the Predators aren't seeing a bit of that. 61% in the Metropolitan and 55% in the Atlantic. So, using those percentages to estimate out doesn't, I guess the difference, things kind of move around a little bit because of the number of games played or number of games left and of that particular percentage applied to it. Not my favorite, but it's one way of doing it. And then I said, well, let me do this. Let's take the last 10, how they're doing in their last 10, and then take that percentage and weight it against the percentage of the top 4 and do it that way. And so I thought that was an interesting way to look at it, because then that way the actual performance of the team gets to modify the what's being done in the division, and which does create a little bit of different results. But then in the middle of the night, I can't sleep. I said, well, wait a minute here. I have their, because I'm kind of focused these days on separating out home and road games. So I said, well, I got their record, and some teams might be better on the road or better at home. And so the last way I did it, I was totally just looking at that team and saying, okay, this is how they're doing on the road. This is how they're doing on the at home, and then calculating the points based upon that in and of itself, and then doing the projection. So, which did create some. All of these had kind of interesting results, and in every case, Boston doesn't make the playoffs. I mean, right now, they are in second place in the Atlantic, so they are in a playoff spot, but only, I think, because they played more games than other people. So they played 27 games, which is the most. The Rangers have also played 27. But say Tampa Bay, that's leading the division, has played 25, and Montreal 24. And so in every scenario I get, they've got about 90, 91 points is what I'm estimating. And so they wound up 12th in the East, so they don't make the playoffs. The team that does come up and make the playoffs is a team not currently in the playoff position, which is Ottawa. And in every scenario, I've got Ottawa. And why Ottawa? They played 25 games, but in every scenario they come up in taking the average for the top 4, they wind up third in the Atlantic, doing the last 10 and the top percentages. They wind up second, and just looking at their road and home record, they wind up third. That was the one thing there. And then Boston gets to about 91 points in the last scenario where you take their record home and away and calculate out points. So they wind up 10th. Actually, the next to last team out of the playoffs. And other than that, in the East, there wasn't a lot of surprises. In the West, the teams going in for the division doesn't really change that much. The difference I've got is that currently, like Seattle would be in a playoff spot, and given the first scenario that I did, Winnipeg comes up and gets in, who are not currently in a playoff spot, and then in the last 10 in the divisional percentage, Anaheim gets eliminated and St. Louis is in. And in the way I think I'm going to be doing it moving forward, and we'll see how this works out over the course of the season. Unfortunately, Edmonton comes into the playoffs and San Jose doesn't. So I don't care whether San Jose makes it or not, but Edmonton makes it. And so that in the West, there wasn't a lot of differentiation Well, wait a minute here. Chicago made it in the first two. Well, then who didn't? Who didn't make it? San Jose. Yeah. Okay. So there were two, and it's all in the wild card, right? Anaheim, LA, and Vegas. Anaheim, LA, Vegas, LA, Vegas, Seattle. Okay. So Anaheim did make it that one instead of being first in the Pacific. They didn't make the playoffs in the second thing, and then they're back as first in the Pacific. Taking a look at the record. So I think that's. So I think the final. So yeah, the only. So I guess the big change right now would be that San Jose doesn't make the playoffs and Edmonton does, and Boston doesn't make the playoffs in any scenario that I had, and Ottawa does. So there you go. That's said I was going to do it. I did it. I do think it's kind of interesting, and I do like the way I'm doing it now. So there you go. Right. So, still no major transactions, at least for the Preds. And so let's just move on. Tonight's opponent are the Calgary Flames. 7:00 tonight, regular time, regular schedule, Bat Channel. And Calgary is 8th in the Pacific Division, so it's a battle of the bottom here. They're 8th, we're 8th. We're fighting it out for the bottom of the bottom of the league. The bottom of the league. The bottom of the East is at 25 points, Toronto Maple Leafs. And in the West, we've got 4 teams at 25 points and lower. St. Louis, Vancouver, Calgary, and Nashville. Anyway, so they are 8th in the Pacific Division, 22 points. They are 9, 14, and 4. They are 5, 10, and 2 on the road. They have only played 10 home games and 17 games on the road. So their schedule has really been weighted towards travel. Probably not your favorite thing to have everything weighted to. The Preds, where are the Preds? The Preds have played 15 at home and 10 on the road. So kind of exactly opposite. Hasn't helped them either. But anyway, so tonight's game is the last game of their 5-game road trip. They're 2-1-1 on this road trip, which is good. Next up for them is 4 at home. This is the second of 3 games versus Calgary. We'll meet again January 3rd in Calgary. Last year, Calgary did win the first 2 games of the series, and they were 2-1. This year, Calgary lost the first meeting between these two teams on November 1st, 2-4. It was the last of a 3-game losing streak for them. Last year, Wolf was in goal in the first and third games, so he was 1-1, and both of those being wins. And the first was the first of a 4-game win streak for them, and the third was the last of a 2-game losing streak. Vladar was in goal in the second game. It's also a win. Calgary did lose the games on either side of that. Notable, interesting injuries. So I've got, let's see if they have on ESPN. And ESPN does not show that they have injuries, but Puckpedia does. And they got 4 players. One is out for the season. And, he's out for the season, but I think he was a minor league player. But what I've got is number 76, number 76, center Martin Pospisil. Day-to-day, not sure when because they don't have it listed, and expected back on the 6th of December. Number 19, defenseman Zane Perek, week-to-week, expected back December 23rd, and number 29, left wing Samuel Hanzak, month-to-month, not expected back this season, got May 21st. So those 3 are out. No new transactions. For the Preds, they are 8th in the Central with 20 points, 8, 13, and 4. At home, they are 5, 8, and 2. They are 5 points and 1 game behind St. Louis. St. Louis has played one more, but they have 5 more points. Next up is Winnipeg, who has played one less game, but 6 more points. And then the team we're playing tonight has 2 more points, but have played 2 more games than Nashville. So potentially, Nashville wouldn't be the bottom of the heap, depending on how those 2 games turn out. This is the last of a 2-game homestand. They are 0-1 on the homestand. Next up, 2 on the road. Thursday, Florida. Saturday, Carolina. Saros was in goal in the 4-2 win here in Nashville back on November 1st. Nashville lost the 3 coming into that game and the 5 after, so that was the one bright spot in those 9 games. Last year, Saros was in goal for the first 2, so he went 0-2. Both of those games were the last game of losing streaks, the first a 3 game and the second an 8 game. So last year, losing to Calgary changed our fortune. Can you change our fate? And Noonan was in goal in the 3rd game, so he's 1-0, the 4-1 win in Calgary. It was the second of a 2-game winning streak last year, and then after that game, they lost the next 2. A couple of new players on the injured list. We've still got Cole Smith and Zachary Leroux. No change on when they're coming back. Leroux the 9th and Smith the 15th. But now all of these expected back currently today, so maybe not. We'll see. Number 20, defenseman Justin Barron. Number 81, right wing Jonathan Marchessault. And number 47, right wing Michael McCarron. All day today and all expected back today, so we'll see. They did have one transaction before the Chicago game, right, because he's played the last 2 games. They recalled number 49, left wing Reed Schaefer from Milwaukee. Now, the way they were talking about him made me think that the guy was huge, but he's 6'3", right? He's 6'3", not stats roster. For a hockey player, 6'3", Isaac Ratcliffe. Oh, he's listed on the team now. Maybe somebody else got called up. So, for instance, Isaac Ratcliffe is 6'6", but 200 pounds, and Reed Schaefer is 6'3", and 213. Why is... okay. They've got Oasis Weisblatt listed. They got people who are playing from Milwaukee listed on the team. I guess because they were up here for a minute. But anyway, so Reed Schaefer called up, and he's played the last 2 games. Recalled. What I did notice in training camp was that on the first day, they were split up in the blue, gold, and white, and he was part of the blue group. Didn't know that really made a difference with, how they were, because you had players with the Preds in all the different colors, so I don't know how they split it up. But he was in the blue group, and I had him as the fastest skater in the laps, at least the first lap, the first time they did laps. But my main comment was that he looks good in traffic, but slow. So I think he must have been really good at handling the puck in traffic. But somehow I thought he was slow, but he was the fastest skater doing laps. So go take that for what it's worth. In Milwaukee, he is 3rd on the team in points. He's got 4 goals and 10 assists. So he's doing pretty well up there in Milwaukee. And so most likely the reason why he's doing so well is because he's got his quantum energy squares. Try to find a different place to put this in. Energy bar with caffeine and protein. It's 100 milligrams of organic caffeine equal to an 8-ounce coffee, 10 grams of plant protein. And a square is pretty convenient for carrying. I did did a little Black Friday shopping, and my wife's family, in my opinion, is famous for not eating. Go, go, go. Cannot go to an amusement park with them. As when I started hanging out with her and her family, and we, go places together, I'd always have snacks in my pocket. And so Friday, I took one of my quantum energy squares with me, and the cookie dough. I had one more cookie dough. I'd been sequestering that because Prudence likes those, so she'll eat them if I don't keep them away. I had it in my pocket. It's convenient. Took a couple bites here, took a couple bites there. I got through the Black Friday shopping. I don't normally do Black Friday shopping outside of the house, so this was the first time I've done that in years. Usually she has somebody else to go with, and because usually with family here, we host Thanksgiving ever since we moved to Nashville. So yeah, this year we didn't have to, so didn't have a turkey. I don't like turkey. My wife does love cooking them, though, for her family. And so I made duck breast. And didn't have the Anaheim chilies, but we had duck breast. So that's how I talked her out of having turkey. I promised to make duck breast. But yeah, I had the Quantum Energy Square in my pocket when I went to the mall. Worked out great. Go to quantumsquares.com, use the promo code PredsPro, and you'll get 25% off every day of the year. And yeah, it should work out pretty well. All right, so that being done, let's get into statistics, numbers, trends, more like trends. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's we've got a certain number of games that we've played, 25 now, 15 at home, and 10 on the road. So pretty balanced. Yeah. So let's see. We are playing at home. The Preds are 5-8-2 here. Taking a look back at the Chicago and Winnipeg game, the Chicago game kind of came out the way you kind of looked at it. Chicago got a goal in each period. They haven't given up. They only given up one goal in the first, and the Preds didn't score in the first, so no surprise there. Let's see. The Preds lost the first one, the second tied the third. They did not get the first goal, and the winning goal was in the third, which is kind of how everything seems to look these days. And Winnipeg lost the first, tied the second, lost the third. If you look at it without the empty net, technically they tied the third, but either way, they lost the game. They did not get the first goal, and the winning goal was scored in the second period in that one. The interesting thing about that game, the Winnipeg power play, 25%, then they didn't get a power play goal. So the Preds won that matchup. Pushed it a little too much if you ask me, but that's how it went down. Well, so let's get into the first goal. The Preds did not get the first goal in the last two games, or was it in the last three? Did they not? What about the Detroit game? The Detroit game, yeah, the Detroit game. They did get it. So Detroit, they got it. They won on the road. Chicago, they did not get it. They won on the road. And then Winnipeg here at home, they did not get it, and they lost. So they are 2-6-1 now at home when they do not get the first goal. 1-6-1 if it's in the first period. 1-0-0. So only twice here in Nashville has the first goal happened in the second period, which is a little kind of interesting. I guess it didn't. Let's see. Just looking back, 13. It happened 20 times last year that the first goal was in the second period. 20 times. So that's 25% of the games. We are 25 games into the season, and it's only happened twice. So that's a little different. Last year, the first goal happened in the third period only once, and that was a loss. And it happened in overtime once, and that was a overtime loss. Yeah, so only happening, twice. Well, okay, that's twice just here at home. So 5 times. 5 times, so that's 5 out of 25, right? So, okay. 20%. That's, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm not so disappointed in that now. But I think that is running quite along the lines of where you would expect it to be. The Preds, when they do get the first goal here in Nashville, are 3-2-1. 2-2-1 in the first and 1-0-0 in the second. First goal's not happened in the third period or overtime yet, or the shootout. So that would be something. So pretty much if they get it, a coin flip on whether they're going to win. If they don't get it fairly strong, they're 3-1, not going to win the game. Should see that. Hopefully the Preds are playing better, and we'll see that turn around a little bit more. Winning by period. We'll just focus on home. What did they do the other night? They lost the first, and both of those games. Only one was at home, but so they are 3-4-8 now in the first period here at home. 2-7-6 in the second period, 4-10-1 in the third. Now, just interesting, something caught my eye, and it caught my eye last time too. If they get the first goal, they are 3-0-3 in the first period. So they have not lost the first period when they have gotten the first goal. Now, when they've gotten the first goal, they have not won the second period. That's interesting. 0-3-3. And then they're 3-3-0, a coin flip on the third period if they get it. So that's all threes. Threes across the board. You get to overtime, it's 0-1-0. But 3-3-0 in all those scenarios, and the 0-0, it changes position in the first, second, and third based upon whether the Preds got the first goal here in Nashville. That's really interesting. If they do not get the first goal, they are 0-4-5 in the first period. So if they have not won the first period here in Nashville when they did not get the first goal. Coin flip on the second one, maybe 2-4-3. I'm not sure where all the popping is coming from. Sorry about that. Try to clear my throat before getting started. 2-4-3 in the second period when they do not get the first goal. So that doesn't look good, given if they don't get the first goal and they never win the first period, then they're 4-3, 4 losses and 3 ties in the second. The third period, even worse, 1-7-1 if they do not get the first goal. So, interesting. When they get the first goal, they haven't won the second period. That one's just really jumping out at me now. When they get the first goal and it's in the first period, they are 3-0-2 in the first and 0-4-4 when they do not get it and it's in the first. So that's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting numbers, how they all look together. Okay, so that's winning by period. Of course, what I really care about is the correlation. And so winning the first period does not correlate to winning the game. Winning the first period at home. 1 and 2, the 3 times that they've won the first period, they're 1 and 2 in winning the game. Losing the first period, they've lost all 4 of those. And then when they tie the first period, it's a coin flip, 4-4. The second period doesn't look much better. The 2 times that they've won the second period, they've lost both of those games, 0-2. This is crazy. 5-8-2. They won 5 games. So these numbers look stupid. They're right. They just look stupid. The 2 times that they've won the second period, neither time have they won that game. 7 times they've lost the second period. 1 of those times they won the game. Had to be that they must have won the first and won the second. And then the 6 times that they've tied the second period, they're 4-2. So again, kind of I keep saying I cannot pull for tying so much, but that the Preds' best scenario right now is to tie the second period. It's really ugly. Looks a little bit better in the third period. The 4 times that they've won the third period, they are 3-1, so that's good. And that pushes over to empty nets too. So 4 times, 3-1, so you don't have to discount that. Losing the third period, 1-9 in those 10 times, but 4 of those were they lost because of the empty net. So 6 times they lost the period and gave up empty net goals. 6 times they lost it, discounting the empty net goals, and they're 1-5. And then only once have they tied the third period, which is also kind of weird. And they won that game. And if you those 4 games with the empty nets were ties, and all of those were losses. So when they tie the third period without empty net goals, they win. The one time that's happened, and if they tie the period with without considering empty net goals, then they're more likely to lose the game. Boy, that's encouraging. And okay, so the combinatorics here of the first and second. Just again, looking at home, the most frequent scenario is again tying the first, and then losing the second, or losing or tying the second, tying the first, losing or tying the second. That's the things that those 2 scenarios have happened 3 times. When they tie both periods, they are undefeated, 3-0-0, and if they tie the first and lose the second, they're 1-1-1. The thing that has happened the most is losing the second period. When they win the first and lose the second, they're 0-2-0, and when they lose the first, lose the second, 0-2-0 in both of those scenarios. The other scenario that's happened, another scenario that's happened twice, is also losing the first, tying the second, and that's 0-2-0. 0-2-0. That's a common refrain right here. What has not happened is winning the second and not tying the first. So winning the first, winning the second, not happened. Losing the first, winning the second, not happened. But tying the first and winning the second has happened twice, and 0-1-1. So that's just, you tie the first, you win the second, you still don't win the game. That's just that gets to be a bit, some of these stats are a little annoying. Moving on to goals, the winning goal. What was it? The winning goal the other night. Chicago, the third period. Winnipeg, the second. Overall, the winning goal 36% of the time is being scored in the third period, 20% for first, second, and overtime, oddly enough, 5, 5, and 5 for all those scenarios, and 9 times in the third. Here in Nashville, again, 33% in the third, so the third period, even with the winning goal the other night being scored in the second period. What that did, though, was keep the first, second, and overtime equal at 20%, 3 times in the first, second, and overtime. So 33% of the time the Preds, the goal is being scored in the third period here in Nashville. Looking at the home versus road team winning, 12 times the home team has won, 13 times now the road team, because what the Preds won in Detroit, Chicago, and then lost here in Nashville. So that was 3 wins for the road team right there. 46% of the time when the road team wins, they're getting the winning goal in the third period. So that's 6 times out of 13. Next up is the second period with 3. So twice as much as any other period, overtime in the first period being 2. When the home team wins, spread it out evenly through the first, third, and overtime, all with 3. So 12 times the home team has won, and 25% of the time it's been the first, third, or overtime. So twice in the second and once in a shootout. So kind of a coin flip when the home team. So when the home team. So okay, another random prediction. The Preds are going to win tonight, and they're going to get the winning goal in the second period, and that way it'll be even across the board. 3 for the first, second, third, and overtime. The overtime wins. This just seems a little too prevalent right here, right now. Goal scoring. That's just lovely numbers here. The Preds here in Nashville are being outscored in the first, 13-14. They're being outscored in the second, 10-17, and they're being outscored in the third by a whopping 9 goals, 12-21. So every period they're being outscored. Overtime they're being outscored 1-2. The shootout is where they are 1-2. Even when the Preds win, they're being outscored in the second period 3-4. They're outscoring in the third 5-3 and outscoring in the first 5-2 in those scenarios. So when they lose, third period, they're being outscored by 11 goals, 7-18. That's a massive differential. In the second period, 7-13, so that's 6-goal differential there, and then 4 in the first, 8-12. So that's not numbers aren't that exciting to read. The deltas. Right. Difference in goal scoring based upon the how the Preds enter the second and third period. Coming into the third period, winning, tied, or losing. And they come into the second and third period, winning. It's happened 3 times for both the second and the third period. They're being outscored in both of in those periods in that scenario. 1-4 in the second, 2-6 in the third. And it's even worse in the third period because one of those for the Preds is an empty net goal. So when they come into the third period winning, they've been outscored 1-6. When they come into the second period tied, that's happened 8 times. They're outscored 8-10, so at least that's close. The third period has happened 4 times where they come into it tied, and they are outscoring the opponents 3-2. No empty net goals in that, so that's positive. When they've come into the second period losing, has happened 4 times, being outscored 1-3, and then 8 times they've come into the third period losing, and they've been outscored 7-13. With 5 of those being empty net goals, so being outscored 7-8. So, again, still being outscored, coming to the third period losing, and they're being outscored. So, definitely is no surprise the Preds scoring is a little anemic, I guess, would be the thing to say. I mean, hopefully they're getting that turned around. Moving on to the matchups. Again, these numbers will primarily be differentiated based upon the scenario of tonight's game, which is Calgary's numbers will be their numbers on the road. Nashville will be the numbers at home. The interesting thing about this is that, like for Calgary, they have played 17 games on the road, which is the most in the NHL. Edmonton is the only other team that has also played 17 games on the road. The variance is 10-17, so that's a pretty decent variance. I think the Preds have played 10 on the road. Not that that's helping them, but so Calgary, all their numbers, their percentages of where they're at goals for, goals against, as far as just the raw numbers, it's going to be biased because they played more games. Nashville, similarly, at home, played 15 at home. The range there is 9-16. There are 2 teams that have played 16 games and 6 who have played 15. So that means the Nashville is in the company of 8 teams, which is at least 25% of the league. So their numbers still, the raw numbers would be biased, which makes, some of this even worse, frankly. For instance, the Preds are 23rd in the league in scoring, goals for, 23rd in the league, and they played more games than 75% of the league. Calgary 17th in goals for, and they played more games than anybody. So anyway, that being said, we'll skip down to the averages. So goals for on average, the Calgary is scoring 2.35 goals per game, and that is on the road. On the road, the average is 3, so they're below average. The minimum is 2.4, so that might, maybe I need to go out another decimal place there. But 2.4 and the max 3.8. So overall, but yeah, the average is 3, and Calgary is scoring 2.35 goals a game. So they're about 2/3 of a goal below average. Goals against 3.35. And the average is 3.1, so they're on average about a quarter of a goal more than the teams. They are scoring 0.71 goals in the first and second, exactly the same, 12. They've got 12 goals in 17 games, 16 goals in the third, so almost a goal in the third period. The average is, 1.3 in the first, 1.4 in the second, 1.9. So they're well below average scoring goals. Well, that's the max. On average, 0.91 and 1.1. So that's interesting. It just goes up a tenth of a point per period. Calgary, it's about the same across all the periods, 0.71, 0.71, 0.9. So comparing that to the Preds score here in Nashville about 2.4 goals, so that's similar. And at home, average is 3.1 goals, so the Preds shockingly below average. Goals for 0.9, the Preds are right at that, though, in the first period, 0.87. The second period, 0.67, but again, it goes up. Goals, it's actually goal scoring slightly more at home, but the average on the first, second, and third periods is the same, 0.91 and 1.1. The Preds scoring 0.87 in the first, so that's pretty close to the average, 0.67 in the second, and then 0.8 in the third. As far as goals against go, on the road, on average, the goal scoring is 3.1. Interesting. The average goals for is 3, and the average goals against is 3.1. Huh. That is really interesting. And this, on the road, and then the goals for max is 3.8, goals for with goals against 4.2. Wow. Interesting. Anyway, so 3.1 goals against is the average on the road, and Calgary giving up 3.35, so a little bit more than average. Again, the average goals against is the same as goals for, 0.91, 1.1, I guess not real surprising. The goals against, Calgary gives up 1.18 in the first, just under 1 in the second, so they are better than average in the second period, and then back to 1.18 in the third. So, they've given up 20 goals in the first and third, and only 16 in the second. Only 16 in the second, but the second on average, remember they've played more games on the road than anybody else. So that's, their goals against average, 0.94 in the second, is below average for the NHL. So that's good for them. The other two periods are, the first period's it's 0.93, and I need to get my precision to be the same. Okay, another change. At least I've got the averages today. So the first period they're right about NHL average, and the second period against below, and then the third period above. So yeah, okay. So that's not too bad. It's not great. For the Preds give up 3.6 goals against, which is more than Calgary does. So Calgary actually looks a little bit better there. They score 2.35 to the Preds 2.4, and give up about a quarter of a goal less. Preds at 3.6 at home. On average, it's 3. They are right at average in the first period. 0.9 is the average to 0.93. And then in the second period, they give up 1.13 goals a game. League average being 1. League average in the third, 1.1. But the Preds are generous and give up 1.4. So, yeah, the kind of interesting in that the first and second periods, the Preds are, maybe you would call them, that would be stingier than Calgary, and the second, it switches. So Nashville 0.93 goals in the first, Calgary 0.94 in the second, and then in the first, Calgary 1.18, and then Nashville 1.13 goals against. So it looks like the game would be tight at that point. It looks like Calgary's going to win this game. At least looking at goals against, looking at goals for, both teams score less than one goal a period. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work out, but there'd probably be a goal scoring festival tonight. Like I said, I thought, given that these two teams are near the bottom of the league, that they probably would be tripping over each other. It's what I thought would be the case. Looking at, from the draft pick standpoint, but it's a little early in the season to be worried about draft picks. You need to be worried about is what team you're going to be playing for. Here we are in December, and by the end of December, teams are going to know what's their fate. I did think one of the scenarios that I saw in the playoffs, I did see where the Predators actually, in the first scenario where they kind of get weighted along with everybody else, they kind of pop up to being the third team out. But considering their record, when that gets put in, I do have them last in the West. Calgary actually not. Vancouver would be the next team, then Calgary. So even though Calgary right now it would be in the bottom, partially because of how many games they played. So, so let's move off of that. Special teams. Okay, so again, the percentages would be fine as far as their rank in the league. Maybe it's biased a little bit because of how many games they've played. And so from that standpoint, you just kind of look at the relativeness of the numbers. And so let's move forward here. Calgary 17 games on the road, Nashville 15 here in Nashville. As far as the penalty kills go, percentage-wise, Calgary is 12th in the league at 82.3%, 11 goals against on 62 opportunities. They have scored 2 shorthanded goals, keeping them at 12th place net. Their net percentage being 85%. They are first in opportunities, first in the league in opportunities on the penalty kill, and 6th in goal scoring. So those numbers are decently close in the rankings. Again, first in opportunities, but they play more games on the road than everybody but Edmonton. So and the differential being from 10 to 17. So that's significant. So the fact that they're first in opportunities, still they're first in opportunities. The Preds are third in opportunities at home again, but they've played more than 75% of played more games at home than 75% of the league. 31st in the league in goal scoring. So that ratio, that third in the league to opportunities, 31st in goals is awful, especially considering that they've played more games than 75% of the league. They are first in the league in the penalty kill, 91.7%, 4 goals against on 48 opportunities. And they fall to second net, even though they've got 1 shorthanded goal. They go up to 93.8% efficiency. Winnipeg has 3 shorthanded goals, and so that vaults them up to 94.3% in the penalty kill. They started at an 85.7. So I think they also didn't have that many power play or penalty kill opportunities. But yeah, so the penalty kill, pretty decent on both sides, upper half of the league. As far as the power play goes, bottom half of the league for both of these, Calgary is 23rd in the league at 15%, 8 goals for on 53 opportunities. They've given up a shorthanded goal. And they are second in the league in opportunities on the power play. First in penalty kill, second in power play. So you expect a lot of penalties, I guess, when they come to town. 12th in scoring goals, so 12th, second in opportunities, 12th in goals. So that's not good. That's not really what you're looking for. The Preds are 17th. At home, 19.6, almost 29 goals on 46 opportunities. They've given up no shorthanded goals, so that raises them up to 15th in the league. Opportunities to goals is kind of close, 11th in the league in opportunities and 13th in goals, so that's okay. A lot better ratio than where Calgary is at. So that's good, but just wonder how many penalties are going to be called tonight. Players to watch, it gets a little bit, okay, there he is. There we go. Now got the explanation for the penalties. But people to watch, number 86, left wing Joel Farabee, first in goal scoring, and then number 16, center Morgan Frost, second in goals with 5, so 6 and 5. But no other stats. Mr. Stat is number 91, center Nazem Kadri. He's first on the team in assists, first in points. He's 5th on the team in time on ice, so he'll be the center that's out there the most, and he's first in shots at 58. And then second on the team in assists and points is number 4 defenseman Rasmus Andersson, who is why is he starred? Is he injured? Anderson? Is Anderson injured? He's starred. No, he's not injured. I'm not sure why he's starred. Well, okay, maybe. Not. Oh, okay. Got it. I see. Back to the penalties. All right. About to blame the production staff, but looks like they got it right. Interesting. The second in shots on the team is 42. So there's a 16 shot differential between first and second. So yeah, number 91 center Nazem Kadri. Interesting. Notice, the Calgary is first in opportunities on the penalty kill. Well, guess what? On the road, they have the guy that's got the most penalties on the road, number 43, right wing Adam Klapka, with 47 penalties in minutes on the road. Second in the league is 41. And they have 3 players who are in the top 10 in committing penalties. One is Anderson. So number 4, defenseman Rasmus Anderson, 9th in the league in penalties on the road, and yet he's got the top ice time, 24:04. Pachal, Pachal, is 8th in the league. So yeah, they've got three players who are, in the top 10 in penalties on the road. So, yeah. For the Predators, talking about their home stats is the usual characters. Forsberg's first in goals, first in points, first in shots. Ryan O'Reilly, he's second in goals with 5. So Forsberg's got 9, and then we go to 5 is second. So that's a big differential. He's second on the goal and points with 10. Forsberg's got 14. Evangelista is also second in points with 10. He leads the team along with Eric Halla in assists with 7. So number 77, Luke Evangelista, 56, Eric Halla, 90, Ryan O'Reilly, number 9, Philip Forsberg. And Evangelista is second on the team in shots with 35, so a 15-shot differential. Yossi does lead the team in ice time, 23:07. And Nick Blankenburg leads the team in shooting percentage. He ticked up from 20% to 21.4. Yes, got a goal. 3 goals on 14 shots, so shooting percentage of 21.4. So number 37, Nick Blankenburg. As far as momentum goes, both of these teams have, in this particular scenario, road for Calgary, home for Nashville. They've won 5 and 2 overtime losses. Calgary has 10 losses and Nashville has 8. Both teams lost their last game. Calgary does have a winning record on this road trip, 2-1-1. They did have a 3-game winning streak in their last 6. So they had a 3-game winning streak recently. And, So in the last 6, so they're 4-2 and 4-1-1 in their last 6. So it's actually that's pretty good. They beat Buffalo, Dallas in a shootout, Vancouver, lost to Tampa Bay, beat Florida, and then lost to Carolina in overtime, 1-0. Wow, nice. So, decent prospects right now. They did win 3 in a row. So a little bit of momentum there. Probably some good feelings. Carolina, losing in overtime, so probably in a good way there. The Preds on this homestand. They're 0-1, having lost to Winnipeg the other night. They did win 2 games before that. And they were 0-2 on their last homestand. So I think the momentum is still kind of with Calgary. Although I think Nashville might be turning the page a little bit. Got the wins in Detroit and Chicago, and the not unexpected loss to Winnipeg. So, yeah. So it should be a fun game tonight, 7:00 here in Nashville. The Calgary Flames. I have nothing bad to say about Calgary. I've never been there. Their fans, I like their fans. Nice people, fun, and like to go to Calgary sometime. Like to visit all the arenas. I think that would be a lot of fun. And but yeah, Calgary Flames come into town. Hopefully Nashville puts on the Ritz and takes home the win. And so that's going to be it for me. Thanks for listening. I'm Preston Proctor, and you've been listening to Predators Proclivity.